So today we're going to be speaking about playing offense. I'm a big sports guy. Was just playing basketball last night in one of my city leagues. This is a big part of the direction of our company as we're speaking about how to play offense, especially when it comes in regards to our project. So a big push that we've had is with our team to be playing offense. And here's what I mean by that. There's a lot of elements to playing offense and not being on the defensive side. First, we're going to speak about integrity. Whenever you have a client questioning your integrity, whether it be about pricing, about schedule, how you're running your business, systems, organization, you're going to be playing defense. And anytime you're trying to play defense in regard to your ethics and your standards as a company and how you're communicating and how you're sending paperwork and change orders and documentation and accounting, right, this is really difficult to win back that ball. It's really difficult to get that back, to be able to have a client earn that trust back. We all understand that. In addition to the integrity side, when you think about playing offense, there's nothing more difficult than when a client's calling you saying, why is no one at my project today? Why is no one there? How come nothing's happening on my job? When that relationship starts to turn and the client feels that they have to micromanage you or manage the process or manage the builder, or maybe details are being missed or not communicated, things are being overlooked. Client may come in and say, hey, Brad, look at this detail. When are you going to have this done? Or when's this repair going to be fixed? And then they come back 3 weeks later and it's not fixed and it's not repaired. And you may say, I have it on my list. I got it on my list. This again puts us in a defensive mode where now there's no coming back from that. All of us can relate to a client where they're super involved. They feel they have to be because otherwise the project's not going to get done. So we've been really big on our team to understand what it means to play offense. And what that is be one step ahead. We should never have the client call us and say, why is no one on the job? The reason being is we've already communicated the process, right? When we're doing a complicated hillside build, there's going to be a lot of days no one's on the job. As you're surveying and digging footings and building into the hillside, you have waterproofing installed. There's cure time for waterproofing, and then you have to cure it before you backfill. Then you backfill, right? And you have compaction, and then you're working on other footings. This is a key component. So what's really important is on Friday, our team does weekly videos. So on every project, every Friday, we have a design team text thread. Architect is on that thread. Interior designers on that thread. Typically landscape architects on that thread. Of course, our clients are on there. And then our project team, right? Director of operations, our estimating, myself as the owner, superintendent, project coordinator. There's going to be 10, 12, 14 people on this text thread. A couple benefits though. One, the clients every Friday, they're getting an update, even if they're local. Half of my clients are local, half of them are out of town, right? A lot of them are still traveling. They're not there all the time. But by getting these updates, they see firsthand. Here's the video tour. The client doesn't have, or my team doesn't have to come and do a selfie video. They can actually just walk through and do a tour of the home, say, here's what happened this week. Here's what's on schedule. Here's what you can expect. Here's what's the 3-week look ahead. Here's a couple items of details to point out. Here's one of the big benefits. We have a client that's out of state that in the past had told us, they're like, look, Brad, we've had to be really involved with our builders. There's been this disconnect of communication. We feel we have to be involved. And I set this expectation. Here's what we do. Here's how we manage that process. And so kick off. It's our second week of the build. Andrew, who's our superintendent, he does the video, and the client's like, this is amazing. Thank you for doing this. So again, they can see, in the video he showed them, here's the grubbing that took place. Here's the driveway that's been cut. Here's the next steps. So the client already knows that, hey, we're playing offense here. We're driving the schedule. We understand what's going to be happening. We're communicating with the trades. And the big thing with playing offense is we'll update them. Our stucco guy had a delay. They want to get the right crew here. Maybe they're sick. They've had COVID. They had a flat tire, whatever. We have our daily logs. We have our schedule on there. And then we're communicating this with our customer. The integrity is the same thing. Like, we're very wide open. Here's how we do our cost plus. Here's all the backup, the lien waivers, the invoices. You can contact our subs. Here's all their backup. Like, there's no changing these numbers, right? Because we want to be on offense. We want to be ahead of this. We want to make sure that we're attacking deposits and product and making sure we have it in due time. That we're vetting our supply chain, making sure that our coordinators understand that process. So going back to playing offense, another big thing is we have weekly meetings between our coordinator and our superintendent assigned to the job, so that they can go through and forecast deposits and schedule and timing, and then make sure accounting's lined up so that we have deposits. So understand how you can play offense, how you can over communicate with your customer. Again, we're not talking about sharing details or items that can maybe be a legal thing for you in the future, or severe issues that you're resolving internally. That's not the intent of this. The intent is to make sure that the customer understands that we're the expert, we understand, we have the knowledge, and we're going to drive this project. One of the other benefits that we found too is that at times, through the design process, especially on these very complex builds, you have an architect that has their design, you have a designer, you have the interpretation of the client, and then us as the builder. Well, as most of us know, things get missed, as it goes through plans and permitting and through the city. And then you have the designer working on the design elements. And sometimes these two books of design, complete drawings, and then the design book don't line up. And so we've had it on a couple projects with the design team where our team has gone through and shown details architecturally or design-wise, and our architect and designer can't be at the project every week, right? We don't expect them to do that. We expect to be able to manage these projects, and we always call them with questions, but occasionally there's a detail that either was interpreted incorrectly or maybe not there that should be there. And so what's happened is through these weekly videos and the communication is that our architects and designers have seen these. They've reached out to our superintendents. They contacted them and said, hey, AFT, you might want to check this detail. You might want to check this element. And then we can solve that in-house. So again, it's a great way for the architect and design to be on board, have that communication, great for the clients. Make sure you're playing offense. Don't be on the defensive. The minute you are, you've lost that relationship. It's really hard to get that back.